If you yourself play baseball, or maybe your kid is in high school and playing baseball to get into college, well, my name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And here's what happens with baseball players: they have a tendency to develop wrist pain. It can be most of the time wrist pain here on the side versus like on the thumb side or in the middle. So let's talk about wrist pain that occurs very specifically right here. And the reason why I want to talk about this area is because I've had over the last several years, I've worked with various baseball players. They tend to be kids, high school kids that are trying to play baseball so that they can get into the college of their choice. And it's really important for the players themselves, but also for the parents. And here's what recently happened that I wanted to share with you. If you have a kid, you have a kid that plays baseball or any kind of sport similar to that, or you yourself play it and you're starting to develop having some pain right here. And I wanted to share a little bit about what I do and how I explain it to my own patients. So if you're someone who has it, you can have a little understanding of it as well. Because when you understand what's going on, you're able to get rid of it better, faster, easier, and you can avoid getting injections to it or surgeries to it. So recently I was working with, he's probably like 17, and he developed a wrist pain right here. So it didn't just develop like kind of on his own. He actually had an injury to the hamate bone. There's a little wrist bone here that if you're playing baseball and the bat knocks into it, can break that little piece of bone. So it got broke. All they have to do is remove it and you start moving right away. And the recovery from that is very, very, very good. You can get 100% recovery. Well, that led to a cascade. That's what I call it, like other events that afterwards, right? He developed wrist pain right here. So he doesn't have it all the time. He has it only when he's playing. So when he's hitting. So he can catch, but when he hits, it moves the wrist and he has pain right here. This right here is called a TFCC complex, right? So basically all it is, to keep it really simple, is we have a group of ligaments, and ligaments hold bone and bone together to give you stability. So this group of ligaments give you stability at your wrist, and it allows you to actually move your wrist side to side like this, which we do need. And it also allows you to be able to turn your palm up and down without any pain. Well, I was working with him and I said, "Oh, let me check on your wrist." He can put weight through it. He felt a little bit of tightness, but it wasn't terrible. He only has it when he's hitting. So when I was trying to explain to him and to his mom, is if I touch right here, so you'll see that you have a crease I just put my forearm on this notebook, and so that's why I have this weird looking crease here from the spiral bound notebook. But here you have a crease from your wrist, right? So right in there is essentially our TFCC. If I push into it and it doesn't hurt, then most likely you don't have a problem with your TFCC. Now, when you do have a problem with it, sometimes the doctors will order an MRI. The MRI is going to show maybe you have a tear, maybe you don't. But if the tear isn't that bad, surgery is not an option right now, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to say, go get therapy and see if you can get rid of it. Or they'll say, just wear a brace. You can wear a wrist brace, let it calm down, and then it'll go away, and then you don't have to take care of it. Here's what happened to my patient who, he's getting ready to get into to play so he can get scouted and get a scholarship. But now his wrist is hurting and he's really doesn't want to play that hard. He doesn't want to work out that hard because he's afraid that if he does anything wrong to it, it's going to get worse and then he's going to need surgery, which is really going to make it hard to get that scholarship and play baseball, right? The funny thing about this is that you can have micro tears in it and you can have some pain. You can have bigger tears in which can cause a lot more pain. But if one of the ways I tested, if I press in there and it doesn't hurt, and I have you turn your palm and down and it doesn't hurt, then most likely, it's pretty good. I'm just going to keep it real simple because I don't want to get technical. But what we have here, we have a tendon. Starts in our elbow and goes all the way down. That tendon rolls around. Every single time you turn your palm up and turn your palm down, that tendon rolls. That tendon is called the ECU. It's called the ECU. It's the extensor carpi ulnaris. You don't need to know it. All you need to know is that that particular tendon, that muscle starts in your elbow and ends in your wrist, and sometimes can cause you some of that wrist pain or some of that when you're playing that hurts. So the reason why I'm making this video, because when I was talking to my patient, but also to the parent to explain, well, based on everything from a clinical perspective, we found the wrist actually looks pretty good, but the muscles that go to the wrist to support it, which starts in the elbow and is supported by the shoulder muscles, they're not working together as well. This creates a little bit of an imbalance in how the shoulder and the elbow work to support the wrist. And I understand it's a little hard to kind of grasp. I'm a therapist. I've been a therapist for over 20 years. I've been a certified hand therapist for over almost equal to that amount. So I've been a therapist for a really long time. I've seen these kind of injuries, so it makes sense to me. But as I was explaining to her, I could tell that it wasn't making sense to them. And she's like, but his wrist is what we're, sending him to therapy for. And why are you working on his shoulder? Here's the thing. If you constantly work at the wrist and you're massaging something that doesn't hurt, you're stretching something that isn't tight, and you're strengthening muscles that are not the cause of it, you're not going to get the results that you're hoping for, which is to get rid of the wrist pain when you're playing baseball. So if you're going somewhere and you have wrist pain because you're doing some kind of activity or some kind of sport and you still can't get rid of it, it might be because you're not working in the right area. And so that's what I was explaining to the mom and the son, which is if I work only at the wrist, you won't see any results. What I need to do is work out the imbalance that's here of the muscle that's going to the wrist. And one of the things that I noticed in his shoulder was really weak. Now, it's not that he's really weak. There's an imbalance. So the muscles that are strong, we have inherently certain muscles in our body that are just naturally stronger than other muscles. And then we have the smaller muscles that are inside our body that they're very important because they go to support the strong muscles. So the muscle that's strong can work even better and more effectively, right? So what happens is the imbalance is the stronger muscle gets stronger and stronger, and the weaker muscles get weaker and weaker, and they don't support. And so what happens is now the shoulder is not doing the work to hold and stabilize the elbow muscles, which the elbow is where it gets started, right? The muscles that go to the wrist start in the elbow. So understanding that is really key to even knowing what to do next. A lot of times people are like, Huang, just tell me what to do, right? Tell me what to do. The problem is if I just tell you what to do and you don't understand it, you'll be like, this woman is crazy. She don't know how to fix wrists. But I do. And we're able to get rid of just the tightness that he feels in his wrist. So I tested against putting weight through the wrist, and we worked on the shoulder to get it stronger in order to be able to play baseball. Now, let me share with you one of the exercises that I shared with him. Now, everyone knows about, well, let me not say everyone knows, but not everyone knows. You can do internal rotation exercises and external rotation exercises. I actually don't have the bands here because this is where I do a lot of my teaching, but I'll probably make another video of showing you exactly how to do internal and external rotation. So if this TFCC area, this ligament, supports when you turn your palm up and when you turn your palm down, when you're doing your exercises for the shoulder or for the elbow, you want to take into consideration if your palm is down or if your palm is up. right? And it all depends on your injury. So everyone's injury is just a little bit different, but consider doing some shoulder exercises to help stabilize the wrist so that it could do better work for you without pain, especially when playing baseball. So one of my top exercises is either internal rotation with a band, right? Or you could do external rotation with a band. um, Wish I had a band here to show you, but I don't, so I'm gonna have to make another video and show you. But keep that in mind, and you can help get rid of your wrist pain when you're playing sports, but specifically when you're playing baseball. My name is Huang. If you have any wrist pain types of issues and you've tried going to therapy, you've been wearing those braces, you want to avoid getting injection, getting another injection, you're trying to avoid surgery, give us a call here at the clinic hands-on therapy services. I'll include the link below, and you can come and talk to one of our specialists, see what's going on, and make sure we can help you before we take you on as a client. All right. Until next time, I hope this makes sense, and I hope you take that into consideration to get rid of your wrist pain. All right. See you next time. Peace.